gonna record this. All right, so welcome. I'm pretty sure that you've been extremely curious about the title of this webinar. I'm gonna move around, so for you at home, if I'm not in front of the camera, I'm around. So do you hear us properly? Yes? Perfect. So the idea of this webinar, 100 Million Possibility Seminar, the reality of it is we have infinite possibilities, but we didn't want to call it the infinite because it's very hard for people to make an idea of what infinite is all about. So I decided to truly put a number so that becomes easier for people to relate to it, right? So my name is Marc Jospitre. I'm a consultant with Proctor Gallagher Institute, which we're specializing in results. If you never had results before, and if you did have results, I will show you how to get better results. And if you're on mute at home, it's normal. It's just to have a better quality of sound. If you're new to Zoom, you can go on your tab. There's participant, and you can click on it, and you can always ask questions or go on the chat. I'm always have an eye on it. So just be patient. I'll get to you in a moment. We're gonna open it later on. Okay, so I'm gonna walk around. So if I'm not in front of the camera, it's normal. But welcome. So 100 million possibilities. What does that mean? That means that you can do so much, and that we are limiting ourselves with truly what we can do, be, and have. And we decided to call it like this. So we want to open your mind to the possibilities. So thinking to result, like the 100 Million Possibilities Seminar is all about result and result that stick. So you might have had in the past results which were coming and going. So you had a good time, it's going really, really well, and then all of a sudden, you're going to this phase where that you don't have any results. But we're gonna see through this seminar why it's happening and why you're not always consistent. And when you know about it, you can get better at it. So I'm a proud member of this family, Proctor Gallagher Institute, and you're probably looking at this old man and you're just like, who's this guy? He looks like he's 100 years old. You're not too far. He's 82 years old, and he's been doing this for 55 years. Actually, he's been working with the pioneer of the self-growth industry, Lloyd Conan and Earl Nightingale. He's been working with the people that created the self-help industry. Now, his history is really interesting because when he started doing this, he had no formal education. He had about a couple months of high school. He had no business experience. He was earning $4,000 a year, and that was the best job he had. And when he got involved into that, it literally changed his mind and his life. And on the other hand, his business partner, Sandy Gallagher, she's totally the opposite. Have 2 master's degrees, 2 doctorals in the best school in the world, went to Eton in England, was the best student into law school in the United States, worked with the best companies, worked in Wall Street, did hundreds of billions of dollars in sales transaction. And when she heard about that information, never heard of it. Never heard this type of information in all her business experience. And she looked at this and she's just like, whoa, wait a second. How can I apply this into the business world where I'm coming from, where I'm programmed to be efficient? And she didn't even know why she was doing it and how she did it. So she made it in her mind that she wanted to be part of Bob Proctor Inner Circle. And basically they created Proctor Gallagher Institute, which we are growing tremendously. This is by far the best company into the self-growth industry. And Bob Proctor is probably the only person that can talk about a subject which is extremely difficult to understand and verbalize it that anybody can understand. My little daughter, she's 5 years old. She can She knows how this material works. She can apply it. She can explain it to you, right? So a child can understand it. So everybody can understand it. So stick with us. Over 55 years, what we realize is people are looking for about 3 basic needs. First of all, they want to be free of any concern, any financial concern. Who agrees with that? I do. You do too, right? No financial concern, so you don't need to think, oh, I need to pay my car, I need to pay my house, I would like to go on vacation, I would like to do something. So that is one of the basic thing that we want. Second, we want to wake up every morning enthused about what we're going to do during our day, right? You want to know, like, you know what, today is going to be the best day of my life. How about going to the beach with your child and not having to work because money is coming to the bank? Does that sound good to you? It sounds fantastic to me. So that is the type of thing that we discover. And third is people want to have relationship that with other people which are just upbeat and enthusiastic and productive and creative. You want to meet people and you want to be associated with people that are feeling good, that they're not just bitching about life, right? Everybody agrees with that, right? Feeling good? All right. So now let me share something with you. You can create your own economy. But you haven't been programmed that way. You've been programmed that the economy, you have nothing to do with it, that you are pretty much whatever's happening on the outside world is the way that it is, and you have no control over it. I'm here to tell you that that is not true. You can change the economy, you can control what's happening, and everybody wants freedom. They want freedom of time and money. And you would be absolutely shocked to see how much time you have when you don't think about money. Because most of your day is designed to see how I'm going to pay this, how I can have this money to do that. That is what you do all day long, especially if you're in business. If you're in business, you're trying to balance your numbers. You say, how can I acquire more businesses and all this? But when you have freedom of time and money, actually when you have freedom of money, you have so much time in your hand. And now you can think about, okay, what am I doing with my time? And that is a beautiful place to be. So this is what we're going to talk about today. How does result happen? Is result just happening? You know, the first time I heard that, I was thinking, wait a second. I mean, how does result happen? How does it work? You know, what do you do to make result happen? So this is what we want to look at, and this is what we're going to look in a second. So let's talk about how result happen. And it doesn't matter where it is, if that's in your business, with your family, with yourself, disease, sickness. How does all those things happen? So let's talk a little bit with business. So there's 2 things that we must know to build your business or your life or whatever you have. So first of all, where you are and where you want to go. Right? That is pretty simple. It's so simple that it's just like, okay, I didn't need to come here to know that. Right? But why is people so stuck? If you know where you are, you know where you're going, why are you stuck? Why do you feel stuck? Because the only thing I remember is I just needed to have a goal. If I have my goal, then I know where I'm going. And it's pretty simple. But the problem lies into where you are. And it's called paradigm. Have you heard of this before? Have you heard of this before? Paradigm. Paradigmas in Spanish. Actually, you hear about that word and you're thinking, wow, that looks like a disease or something, right? Looks pretty scary. But it's not that bad. Actually, paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And guess what? Almost all of your behavior is habitual. Everything you do during the day is habitual. Actually, 95%. You do about 5% of new things every day. So everything that you're doing is a repetition of what you've done yesterday, and what you've done the day before, and what you've done the day before. So 95% of the thoughts you're entertaining in a day is the same thoughts you had yesterday. And then you're wondering why after 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years, you have the same spot. You're always thinking the same way. You're always doing the same thing. But you've been programmed that way. You are a habitual creature. Everything you do when you wake up, you're going to the same routine. And if you go out of the routine, then you feel, whoa, why did I do that? It feels odd, unless you form the habit of doing new things in your life, okay? So this is what we're gonna look into in a moment. So a paradigm is a mental program, is a multitude of habits, which is part of your life, but it's not even your habits. That's your mom's habit, or your dad, or your teacher, or whoever you're hanging out with. That's not even your own habit. So then you're thinking, I don't want to be like my mom, or my dad, or my friend, and you end up exactly like them. And you're just like, whoa, what just happened? Because those habits have been passed from one generation to the other one. And sometimes you've got to go like 5, 6, 10 generations down the road to figure it out, where is that habit's coming from. So don't feel bad. That's not your fault. But now that you know, you become responsible for it. So we need to start looking into it and start changing it. All right? Making decision is also a habit. But people they don't know how to make decisions. This is why they go around and say, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? And normally and often they're asking another person that doesn't know what to do and doesn't know how to make decision, and they're giving them an opinion, which is based on no knowledge, absolutely no idea of how to make decision, but they're asking another person that have no clue. And then you have two ignorant person that try to solve a problem, which is not necessarily the right way to go. Okay? But we're gonna come back to decision later. Now, if we're talking about financial success, it has a lot to do with being in the right place at the right time. Who agrees with that? Right? You heard that, right? If you're at the right place at the right time, then you're going to be successful. But wait a second. Do you know that you're always at the right place at the right time? Always. The opportunity and the possibilities are always there. But you're missing something. There's missing something very, very important here. What is it? Do you know? Any idea? It's called awareness. And we're going to look into the power of awareness. And that is extremely powerful. When you understand how the power of awareness and being able to see those possibilities, that's where your entire life is going to start changing. Okay? So we're going to look into what awareness is all about. Give me a second here. Sorry, ladies. There you go. So we can see properly. I love to see your beautiful face, but we need to see the image. All right? So your ability to enjoy the good life, it depends on your level of awareness. So we're going to play this little game right now. Okay? Pay attention. Do you see this little yellow dot? What? Wait. Oh, yeah, I see it. I see it a little bit. So the yellow dot represents your level of awareness. right? And how do you be able to enjoy the great life is by expanding your level of awareness, right? So we want to get out of the darkness and start seeing the light. And you're going to be able to do that by expanding your level of awareness. Because a person doesn't earn $100,000 a year because they want to earn $100,000 a year. They earn $100,000 a year because they don't know how to earn $100,000 a month. And the only way that you can earn $100,000 a month is to have the awareness that there is the possibility of doing it. But if you limit yourself to the year, how are you going to do it for the month? And that's awareness that's going to be able to do that. So how do I expand my level of awareness? Right? That would be the question you would ask yourself. So we continue expanding our awareness, and we're going to do that with effective education. Right? When I say effective education, the key word here is effective. Because you got a bunch of education through school, and it's not necessarily effective. I'll cover this in a moment. But it has to be combined with professional coaching over a reasonable amount of time. Like, all this is extremely important. So effective education with some help of a coach over some time, and you will be able to expand your level of awareness. All right? And you're going to improve the quality of your life. So while your level of awareness continues to expand, you will be able to see things like, you know, it's really sad to see a child which is scared of dark. Would you agree? But it's sadder, or it's worse to see an adult being scared of the light. And that's what awareness is to be able to see the light, right? So we continue to expand our awareness, and it's expanding. It's going bigger and bigger. And when you're there, you're going to realize that everything you're seeking is seeking you. Everything you're seeking is seeking you. And that's what the law of attraction is all about. So when you're setting your vibration into a certain frequency, everything you're looking for is looking to get involved with you as well. So level of awareness expand, and that is, whoa, I mean, I don't know about you, but you're looking at this right now and you're thinking, well, this is a mess. Would you agree? If you look at all this, but you know, I don't see any of this. The only thing I see is the yellow dot. And that represents what's happening in your life. Is there's so much noise, there's so much things happening that you're not capable of focusing on the possibilities, which are all there. But you get distracted. Social media, it's one of them. The noise, the sound, everything's moving, the cars, jobs, the security, whatever it is that's happening in your life. And I'm not saying it's not important. What I say is you are distracted and you're not capable of seeing the awareness, which is the yellow dot. I don't see the chaos. I just see the yellow dot. And that's where the difference. That's what awareness is all about. So let's look at a little bit at the several level of awareness. Most of us, we're living right there. That first level of awareness, which is called animal. The animal, what does the animal do? The animal is blending into his environment. It let his environment dictate how he feels. And actually, for the animal, it's fight or flight, right? They're reacting. They hear a noise, they look, they go. Either they were going to fight or they're going to just escape because they want to survive. 80%, if it's not more, of the population will never go away from that. They want to stay on the animalistic awareness, which They want to have shelter, they want to dress themselves, and they want to eat. I have a good story about that, as a matter of fact. Universities have been doing studies about human and ask people, like, why are you waking up in the morning? Do you know that 19% out of 20, so 95% of the population do not know why they wake up in the morning? Why? I need to wake up, I need to go to work. That is why you wake up? That is what your life is all about, going to work? No. What is your purpose on this planet? What is your purpose in your life? What do you want? And if you don't answer that question, you have the animal awareness. So if you just wake up to survive, you have the animalistic awareness. Nothing bad with it, but there's nothing good about it either, right? So we continue to expand our awareness, and then we're going to go to the second level of awareness, which is mass consciousness. This is where that you're following the crowd, right? So if everybody goes this direction, then you're going to go this direction. If you're going to go that direction, oh, let's go that direction. It's really funny because Earl Nightingale said, if you see a group of people going to a direction and there's a couple person going the other, and you're not going to think, follow the couple people, you will never be wrong. Because historically, people that are following the crowd is always going the wrong direction. They're following something that is not there, right? So mass consciousness is the second level. Third level is aspiration. This is where you start aspiring to get better. That's where you start thinking. You say, you know what? I want something out of my life. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm starting to think, I'm starting to aspire to be someone or something or do something for myself. So we continue to expand our level of awareness. Yeah? Remember that earlier? The fourth level is your uniqueness. If you start embracing your uniqueness. And that, my friend, that's where the magic starts to happen. And I'm saying this because not a lot of us, but all of us without exception is unique. But we don't embrace it. You don't embrace your uniqueness. You are suppressing the power you have inside. But every single person is unique. Nobody is the same. So your uniqueness is such a powerful level of awareness, and you want to embrace it. So the gifts that you had in your life, that you know that you're doing it better than anybody else, that's part of your uniqueness. You've got to embrace it. And when you start doing this, there's something magic that's happening inside of you. You want to start to become who you should be. No, God gives you a gift. Don't put it to waste, right? Then the other level is, I'm gonna have it. Next one. It's expanding. We continue to expand our level of awareness. Discipline. That one is important. This is where you give yourself a command and you follow it. That is where the uniqueness and the discipline are going hand in hand. And then the next one is going to happen on its own. Because when you give yourself a command and you follow it, then you're going to gain the experience. You're going to get better. You're going to get better at what you're doing. And when you have the experience, then you're going to become where you should be, which is a master. That is the seven level of awareness. And you've got to develop those. If you don't develop those, you will never be able to be the person that you always wanted to be. Because that is your birthright, by the way. That is what you're meant to be. You're meant to develop yourself to the level of your gift that you've been given. And that's what Bob Proctor has been doing over the past 55 years. He's been working at developing his awareness, and it is pretty amazing. I have the privilege of being close to him and looking at him working. It is an absolute beauty. So let's talk about the earning income, the 3 income earning strategies. A lot of you are coming here as a possibility because you want to earn more money, right? That's part of what you want to do. So the income earning strategy are very simple, M1, M2, M3. M1 is when 96% of the population are operating and they don't earn much actually. And that's where you train your time for money. You're trading your time for money. There's a problem with that, is there's a ceiling. There's never more than 24 hours a day. So you will always hit the ceiling. You will miss time and you're not going to be able to earn the money that you want to earn. And 2 is when you trade money for money. That's where that you might squirrel some of money, you might have inherit some money, and then you say, oh, I'm going to start a business. But most of the people do that, they don't know what they're doing, they start a business, and then in some very short amount of time, they go out of business, they lose all their money, then they have to start from scratch, right? If you go to M2, which is a great strategy, you need to have the help of people who know what they're doing. And they've proven that they know what they're talking about. M3 is the 1% of the population which is using that strategy, and they earn 96% of all the money which is earned on this planet. If you work for someone, you're working for the M3 person, where they're multiplying their time through you. So they're using people to multiply their time. And that's what it's called leverage, right? Because how, if I can show you how to turn your annual income into a monthly income? Because that's what we can do. That's when you're using the laws, which I'm going to share with you later. You're going to understand why the people which are utilizing multiple sources of income are capable of earning that much money. That's what the M3 strategy is. And you gotta know this because every wealthy person on the planet have been utilizing that strategy since the beginning of time. Because our world right now is changing, it's becoming smaller. Right now you have hours of flights from anywhere in the world. And you can do business with anybody in the world. I mean, as a matter of fact, my accountability partner is in Australia. And right now, in Australia, it's Thursday morning. It's Thursday morning, and it's 12 o'clock over there. 11:58 in Australia. It's a day ahead. So I can do business with Australia right now. And the results you're going to get will come from different multiple source of income, from different MSI. But all those MSI, they won't necessarily earn you money right away. But what it's going to do is going to give you experience. And what you do in this MSI might not earn you money. Actually, as a matter of fact, might close. But what you're learning there is valuable for that next MSI you want to set up. And then you become better and better and better and better. And you can have source of income coming from anywhere in the world. And guess what? Your bank will accept any currency coming from anywhere in the world. And they're not going to say, oh, you know what? I don't like this currency. It's not going to take it. I'm going to say, yeah, bring it on. I'm going to charge you a commission. That's what your bank is going to do. Because when rich is going to come to you, they're going to come so fast and so furious that you will wonder where they've been hiding during all those lean years. That's from the book, Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. Fantastic book. If you do just once what others says you can't do, you will never pay attention to their limitation again. This is one of my favorite. And that's where everything starts to change, is when you understand this part. We can agree that Albert Einstein was probably one of the biggest physicists and most popular physicists in the world. Most known, definitely. Everything is energy, and that's all there's to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want. Match the frequency of the reality you want. And you cannot help but get that reality. It cannot be any other way. And that is not philosophy. This is physics. So what you need to do, which goes with the law of attraction, is you need to match the frequency of what you want to the reality that you're looking for. Because everything is energy. You are energy. What you want is energy. And everything functions on frequency. So, if I can match what I want with the frequency and the vibration that my body is, I will get what I want. And this is why awareness is so important. You need to know that knowledge if you want to have the life you want. This is a photograph which is called Currian photography. It's a photograph of your aura, or the frequency of the energy that you have in your body. This is not esoteric. That's science. You can have the photograph of your aura taken, and it's going to change depending on what type of vibration you are. Okay? But it's all about the mind. It's all about your marvelous mind. You need to know how your mind works. So let's look a little bit at the mind and the paradigm. Now, Dr. Ryan, which was one of the greatest, which was from Duke University, had been doing a lot of study on the mind. And he said the mind is the greatest power of all of creation. You need to understand how your mind works, and you need to be able to see how you can utilize it as the best as you can. So Dr. Ryan says the mind is the greatest power of all creation. Let me see how I can ask you a question, Petra. There you go. All right. So, Petra, can you describe to me your car? Do we have sound? No, we don't. All right. It's all right. Okay. So if I ask you to describe your car, how does your car look like? What color?
White.
White. Big or small?
It's a pickup truck.
It's a pickup truck. How many doors?
2 doors.
2 doors. What color is the interior?
It's gray.
It's gray. All right. So if I would ask someone to describe a dog.
Dog?
Yeah. Do you have a picture of your dog?
Yes.
Yeah, very easy, right? Now, describe to me your mind.
Flexible?
Okay. Now, what's happening is I ask you to describe your car. Picture of the car.
Right away.
Easy. I ask you to describe a dog, which might not be your dog, but a dog. Probably a picture of the dog came up. I ask you to describe your mind, no picture. You have no cells of recognition of how the mind looked like. When I ask you about the car, you had, like, I mean, there's all kind of different things that's happening. You know, I send like a signal, a sound signal, which you receive, and you create all kind of different things. Tons of things happen in a fraction of a second, and you have a picture. But when I did that with the mind, no picture. And this is why people go for analysis, and they go for years, because they don't have any cells of recognition of the mind, because you and I think in pictures. We think in pictures. And if we don't have pictures, we cannot create, we cannot see properly what's happening. And there's a doctor in San Antonio, Texas, that understood that. His name was Dr. Thurman Fleet. In 1934. In 1934, Dr. Thurman Fleet knew that we had a problem with the healing art, because we don't have a picture of the mind. So what he did is he created a picture of the mind. Right? Now imagine that, 1934. What is the year today? 2017. Why is nobody knows about that? That's a very interesting question. But he stated that the mind is an activity. It's not a thing. Mind is movement. Mind is movement. Mind is not a thing. You know, a lot of people, you will ask, okay, what's your mind? They will see the brain. Brain is not your mind. Mind is as much in your brain that it is in your fingernail or in your knee. Mind is movement, right? And the body that we live in is the manifestation of that movement. So what he did, he decided to do a picture of the mind. This is your mind. Look at it. Now, you might look at this and you start laughing. No, you're thinking, what? Like you see a couple lines and a couple circles. But that is the most powerful image that you will see in your life. So we're going to put a line in the middle. And the top part, we're going to call it the conscious mind. The bottom part, we're going to call it the subconscious mind. And of course, the small part is the body. This is the most powerful drawing you will experience in your life. And you need to start loving it. Because every time that you're going to think about yourself, and you're going to be able to see this, all the confusion stops. And you become calm, disciplined, and dedicated. Because if I think about you, if you think about yourself, oh yeah, it's true, I have to talk to this client, and then I need to make this phone call. Oh, my wife is, you know, I have this anniversary, and oh yeah, I would like to go there, and I have this bill which is coming. Yeah, I have this football game I'd like to watch on TV, and oh yeah, it's true, I have to call my brother, and there's all kind of different things that's coming in the mind all the time. It never stops. Because we live on 3 different planes of understanding at the same time. You're a spiritual being with an intellect and emotion in a physical body. 3 different planes of understanding.
So it's physical.
Physical. Spiritual is the connection to the universe, right? Then you have the intellect and the emotion, which is the second level of understanding. And we live in the physical body, which is the lower potential. All this creates, there's different rhythm there. And all this creates a lot of confusion about who you are and what is your relation to the environment that you live in. But when you have a picture to operate, everything stops. And you can see clearly. Bob said this is the most valuable concept that you learn, and I have to agree with him. When I got that, everything changed in my life. Now, school gives us knowledge, and this is what I was saying earlier, that effective education is key. School gives us valuable knowledge, but they never teach us about what paradigms are. And because we don't know about paradigm, we are not executing what we already know. And more you know, less you do. More knowledge you're acquiring in proportion to what you're doing, the gap is bigger. So that causes a lot of frustration in people. And because you're frustrated, you're not executing and you're not getting the results you want. And that's where the problem sits. So school focus on the conscious part, right? School focus on the conscious part. This is where we pile up the books. We said earlier, how do we get results, right? How does result happen? Because we know where we are, we know where we want to go. But result happen to and through the paradigm. Not through where the books are. That's not where result happen. It happened to and through the paradigm. The habits that you have are going to give you the results. Not what you know. And the school has been focusing on what we know. That's all correct. So if you want to change the results, what do you need to change?
Our habits.
The paradigm. Correct. You need to apply and create new paradigm, new habits. That is the only way. So we're going to play like this mind game, which I kind of love. Because if you don't understand how the mind game works, you will never be able to have the results you want in your life and create the outcome that you want in your life. Okay? So if you look at the mind, the body is an instrument of the mind. The body will do whatever the mind tells it to do. So as you remember, you have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body. And the results are going to happen to and through the body. Okay? So you get your results. You remember where we want to go? We mentioned it earlier. We know where we are, and this is where we want to go. Right? That's the dream. But where is the problem?
On our subconscious mind. The result.
The problem is where we are. Remember that?
Yes.
And that's the result, indeed, because it goes together. The results are a product of the subconscious mind, right? Because that's where the paradigm sits.
Of the habits of our subconscious.
Very, very true. Very correct. So your habits and paradigms are here, and you're getting those results through those habits. So that's where we want to go, right? So we know where we want to go, but we're stuck here. And if you see there's a gap. And that's what we call the knowing, doing gap. We know how to get there. You know how to get there. You have all the knowledge to get there. But you will never get there if you don't understand how your mind works. Because you're stuck here. You're stuck in your habits. You're stuck in your paradigm. And the only way that you will be able to get rid of those paradigms is through effective education with a good coach. Otherwise, you might be fine where you are. Not saying you need to change anything. But if you want more, if you want to go after your dream, you need to close that gap. And you need to decide to want to live a good life. So let's look at how you're going to get there. And the way to get there is to live by law, not by luck. And that's the problem, is people have been living their life by luck. They say, yeah, you know, I hope so, and I wish. Wish and hope won't bring you nowhere. You might do it by luck one time, you get results, you get by luck, but you cannot explain it, you cannot reproduce it, and you're just like, I don't know why it's not working. And there's laws that we want to see, and we want to know, we want to work with. That's 7 laws of the universe that we're working at Proctor Gallagher Institute. Those laws are extremely important. You need to know them, you need to own them, you need to know how to apply it and be able to teach it to your children, to your employees, and first to yourself. The first one is the law of perpetual transmutation, which states that energy is always into transformation, meaning nothing is created and destroyed. Everything is only a transformation from one state of vibration to another. Second law, the law of relativity. This law states that nothing is good or bad, positive or negative. Everything just is. You make it what it is. You decide. So when you have that great power that's flowing to and through you, that energy just is. The law of vibration, which the law of vibration is the primary law of the law of attraction. The state of vibration that you're in will attract into your life what you want. And this is why so many people have been upset or says that the law of attraction is bullshit, or it doesn't work, or whatever you want to call it. But it works just fine. You just missed some pieces. Vibration creates attraction. The law of polarity says that everything has an opposite. Up, down, hot, cold, positive, negative, yin, yang. Inside, outside. They wouldn't be inside of that room if there wouldn't be an outside. The law of polarity is extremely powerful because I love this part. Your mind cannot focus on 2 things at once. You know, I know that ladies love to say, oh, we can do too many things at the same time. No, you can't. That is a lie. Your attention is just shifting to something else. So, the law of polarity states that if you're in a negative vibration, there's an opposite to it, which is the positive vibration. And the only thing you have to do is to shift your focus. And you're not thinking about the negative anymore. Is it hard to do? Yeah. You need practice in order to master that. Experience, awareness, then you master. Right? The law of rhythm. That is the one that if you go up, you'll go down. Night follows the day. High tide, low tide. Up and down. This law is like gonna bring you up and down, and it's just like, but you know that if you are into a down slope, the up slope are coming. You just need to stay focused. Stay focused on the goal. Make sure that your mind is at ease with whatever challenge that you experience. The law of cause and effect, right? That law, according to Emerson, is the law of law. That's the law of action, reaction, or action, attraction, to go back to the law of attraction, right? And the last one is the law of gender. The law of gender states that everything has an incubation or gestation period. If you plant a seed, the seed needs time to grow. And a lot of people give up just before they hit the jackpot. because they don't understand the law of gender. They just don't finish the job. Where the only thing they have to do, they have to be patient. But they say, oh, that doesn't work. So this shit doesn't work. So and then they go right back and they send all that negative energy to what they just tried to do, where they were just there. And the toughest part is when that seed wants to break the ground. That's the tough, it's just right before you become successful. That's where most people give up, because that's where it's the toughest. You need to know those laws, you need to apply it, you need to know how to apply it. And that's what we teach it. To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm. Able, everybody's able. Do you know that we have 11 million kilowatt hour per pound of potential energy in our body? 11 million kilowatt hour per pound of potential energy. In my little finger, I can light up this entire building for nearly a week in potential energy. Now, we haven't figured out how to tap into that. But some people say, oh, I'm tired. Now, you should say, I don't have any desire. Tired. Wow. We have unlimited amount of energy, meaning possibilities, right? The true question is, are you willing? Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to get where you want to go? That's the true question. I love this sentence from Steve Jobs, which, by the way, wasn't that case, but he was a great pioneer. And he understood what possibilities were. And what he was doing is every day, he was going in front of the mirror and was asking himself, if I'm about to die right now, what am I about to do? Am I happy about what I'm about to do today? And if the answer was no, too many days in a row, he knew that he needed to change something. How many times have you looked at yourself and said, I hate this shit. I don't want to do that. Change it. Because if you hate it, you're not moving forward. You're not doing what you know that you should be doing. Buckminster Fuller, a great thinker, always said, never think of fighting an existing reality. So the reality you don't like in your life, why are you fighting it? If you don't like it, change it. Make the existing model obsolete. What a beautiful way of looking at life. This is what happened to Bob Proctor. So he was 27 years old, working in a firehouse in Toronto. And a man passed by, he was coming and talked to him. And his name was Ray Stanford. And Ray, because Bob was asking questions to Ray, it's like, how did you do what you're doing? You look always happy and healthy and you always have a lot of money. And it's like, yeah. And it says that you are the most miserable person I've met in my life. And Ray wrote a big R like this. And he says, do you think I'm healthy? I said, yeah, you look healthy and you look happy, you look wealthy. You think that happened by accident? No, I created that. But you need to decide to do it. It's a decision. At the time, Bob was earning $4,000 and he was owing $6,000. And his entire life was, how can I get these creditors? How can I get this debt paid? And all great leaders have agreed on one thing. We become what we think about. So if you're thinking debt, you're going to be in debt. So Ray said to Bob, read this book, Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. And he went from earning $4,000 to $175,000 in 1 year. Now, that was in 1960. Can you imagine what $175,000 was in 1960? 3 years later, he was earning $1 million. If I tell you right now that you can earn $1 million in 3 years from now, what would you be willing to do right now? And the answer should be whatever it takes. Because that, I've seen it. I've seen it over and over again. And this is what this program is all about. That's what Thinking into Result is about. Is a resume and is a work material from that book. Thinking and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. And it's going to change your life, your business, whatever you want to do. And you're only limited today by two things: weakness of attention and poverty of imagination. And we're working on those. That's part of your mental faculties. You have a decision to make today. Do you want to stay where you are, or you want to move forward and you want to have the life that you always wanted to have? And I'm going to give you like a little thing. And for you at home, you can send me a request through the email address that you see there, info@marcjospitre.com, and I'll get back to you with how to get the best version of yourself. Remember, you have a gift that it's coming from God. You've been gifted. You have to embrace it. That is your God willing. That is your right. So take it. Do you have any question? No question. Spectacular.